TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, in 1 hour's time, voting polls will close across the Jewish state after millions of Israelis flocked to voting stations for the second time in just over 5 months. Saudi Arabia announces that according to preliminary findings, the attack on the oil plants over the weekend was carried out with Iranian weapons at the order of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards. US President Donald Trump announced that Washington could respond with disproportionate force to the attack against the Saudi oil installations once confirmation of the country responsible, namely Iran, is definitive. In just 1 hour, voting polls for Israel's national elections will close, after which official exit polls will immediately be made public. Since 7 o'clock this morning, millions of Israelis flocked voting stations for an unprecedented second time in just over 5 months to cast their preferred ballots for Israel's future leadership. According to the last projected surveys published on Friday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former IDF Chief of Staff Benny Gantz are running neck and neck. Nevertheless, it would appear that Netanyahu's right-wing religious bloc managed to maintain its majority with a lead of 57 mandates over Gantz's center-left bloc, which has 54. If this pre-election projection materializes, an expected win of 9 mandates by former Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman's Israel Beitenu party would grant it the power to decide who will be tasked to form the next government of Israel, which is precisely the same outcome as the country's last elections on April 9th earlier this year. As Lieberman cast his own vote this morning near his West Bank home in the settlement of Nokdim, he expressed confidence, stating that everything will be all right, after being asked if he was concerned over a less favorable turnout than projected.
יש חששות אבל? שום דבר, יש לנו תחושה שהכל יהיה בסדר. לא להיכנס, אני אקרא לכם בפנים, סבלנות.
Voting at a Jerusalem polling station early this morning, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is competing for a historic 5th term in office, voiced concern over reports of a very close race between him and his main rival Benny Gantz, yet stopped short of making any statements against the blue and white leader.
בחירות צמודות, אני יכול לאשר לכם הבוקר הן צמודות מאוד. אני קורא לכל אזרחי ישראל לבוא ולהצביע. כמו שאני ואשתי באנו להצביע, לא אומר לכם מה, כן? שיהיה בהצלחה. תודה.
In the central Israeli city of Rosh Ha'ain, blue and white chairman Benny Gantz also refrained from criticizing his rivals and merely wished success to all of his supporters.
יאללה חבר'ה, שיהיה לכולנו בהצלחה, תודה רבה.
תודה.
Meanwhile, in what was declared as a defiant response to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declared intention to annex the West Bank district of the Jordan Valley, if he ultimately wins today's national elections, the Palestinian Authority held its weekly cabinet meeting in the disputed territory. In the opening remarks of Prime Minister Mohammad Shtaya, the Palestinian leader vowed that Ramallah will do everything in its power to strengthen the steadfastness of the Palestinian people, while underscoring that the Palestinian Authority will retaliate by also moving to assert its own dominion over the Jordan Valley.
احنا هون مجلس الوزراء يؤكد كامل التزامه بتوجيه من الرئيس ابو مازن على اننا سنعمل كل ما نستطيع من اجل تعزيز صمود اهلنا على ارضنا ومن اجل ان تكون منطقة الاغوار الفلسطينية هي بالمجمل العام حديقة خضار وفواكه فلسطين.
The Palestinian Prime Minister further threatened the Jewish state that if his Israeli counterpart would follow through with his pledge to eventually assert sovereignty over all of the Jewish settlements in the West Bank, the Palestinian Authority will respond in kind by taking steps to extend its own sovereignty over all of the disputed territories, a reality that would inevitably lead to further escalation. These sentiments seem to be aligned with some of the residents of the Jordan Valley, who declared the Jordan Valley as an inseparable part of the lands of so-called Palestine. It is important to note that not all Palestinians hold the same position. Some local Arab residents of the Jordan Valley insist that the reality on the ground already deems Israel as the sole sovereign over the disputed territory.
اللي بيطبق القانون هان إسرائيل وبشكل عام أنا بعتبر المدن الفلسطينية المحتلة اللي بتمتعوا فيها أولاد عمنا اليهود أو الضفة اللي إحنا قاعدين بنعيش فيها وبنمشي في هالزمن كله واقع تحت السيطرة الإسرائيلية. محمود عباس بيطلعش عن طوعهم ولا أي بني آدم هم كامل السيادة.
Now to Saudi Arabia, where the Saudi-led military coalition that is battling Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthi rebels have announced that according to preliminary findings, the attack on the oil plants over the weekend was carried out with Iranian weapons at the order of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards.
الأسلحة التي تم استخدامها في الهجوم الإرهابي سواء في بقيق أو في خريص تعطي دلالة مبدئية أن هذه الأسلحة هي أسلحة إيرانية، ونحن نعمل على الانتهاء من هذه التحقيقات وسيتم الإعلان عن كافة النتائج. كافة الدلائل والمؤشرات الأولية لم يكن الهجوم الإرهابي من الأراضي اليمنية كما تبنت الميليشيات الحوثية. هذه الميليشيات مجرد أداة في يد الحرس الثوري الإيراني، مجرد مطايا يحققون الأجندة والرغبات للحرس الثوري والنظام الإيراني الإرهابي.
While the Islamic Republic rejects the allegations leveled against it by its arch-regional rival Saudi Arabia, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, who is currently in Ankara for a trilateral meeting with his Turkish and Russian counterparts, declared the attacks against the kingdom's oil installations were a legitimate response by Yemen.
کاری که مردم یمن انجام میدن دفاع مشروع از خودشون هست، حمله متقابل هست، راه حل اساسی هم پایان دادن به این تجاوز هست. ما معتقدیم راه حل یمن یه راه حل سیاسی هست.
Meanwhile, in Washington, US President Donald Trump announced that the United States could respond with disproportionate force to the attack against the oil facilities once confirmation of the country responsible is definitive. Speaking alongside the Crown Prince of the Gulf Kingdom of Bahrain, President Trump emphasized that while all indications point a blaming finger at the Islamic Republic, the United States will not respond until it receives final confirmation.
But I will tell you, that was a very large attack, and it could be met with an attack many, many times larger very easily by our country. But we're going to find out who definitively did it first.
Meanwhile, in Tehran, where Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei declared that the only way that his country's officials would hold meetings with their American counterparts is if the Trump administration would repent for its words and actions and return to the 2015 nuclear agreement. In a speech to Iranian seminary students, the country's supreme leader emphasized that unless these conditions are met, the Islamic Republic will reject any rapprochement with the United States.
اگر آمریکا حرف خودش رو پس گرفت، معاهده درباره هسته‌ای را که نقض کرده بود اگر توبه کرد و برگشت به این معاهده، شد عضو کشورهای معاهده کننده. اون وقت در جمع کشورهای معاهده کننده که شرکت میکنن با ایران صحبت میکنن اونم شرکت کنه. بدون او هیچ گونه مذاکره‌ای در هیچ سطحی بین مسئولین جمهوری اسلامی و آمریکایی ها اتفاق نخواهد افتاد. نه در سفر نیویورک، نه در غیر سفر نیویورک.
Thank you for joining us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Yair Pinto. Have a good evening, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.